going 6-10, and we ain't smell the playoffs. Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to AFC Divisional Round Overtime. Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, taking on the Indianapolis Colts. And this one was not what I expected. I thought we were going to get a much more competitive football game than what we got. And what we got was a thorough ass kicking in this football game. And I think the weather, the elements had a little bit to do with the outcome in this game. I'm not taking anything away from the Chiefs, but come on now. We all watched the Chiefs this year, and I know they were better at home defensively than they were on the road. I get that, but you also look at some of the games at home, and you look at their home schedule versus their road schedule, and I think you'll find why the difference was what it was. I mean, they played the Ravens and the 49ers and teams like that at the crib versus playing teams like the Rams and the Patriots and teams like that on the road. And I mean, the 54 points they gave up on the road, I mean, that number in itself really inflates their road average. But again, that's who they've been this season. So I thought the weather had a little bit to do with the Colts' ineffectiveness in this football game. But don't take anything away. I told you, if you're Indianapolis, as a matter of fact, let's get to the keys because we don't have a lot of time. I don't want to waste a lot of time. Let's get to the keys to victory in this game for both teams. We start with the Colts. Win the line of scrimmage. They were dominated thoroughly on the line of scrimmage in this football game. Marlon Mack, 9 carries, 46 yards, and really that was bolstered by about a good 25 to 27-yard run. You take that out of the mix, you're probably looking at 8 carries for about 17 yards or so. He was really stifled on the afternoon. They really didn't have a lot of space to run, and they didn't have a lot of plays. I mean, look at the first half. They went 3 and out on 4 possessions or 3 possessions and then didn't get a first down until the final possession right before the half. They were absolutely dominated thoroughly at the line of scrimmage. How many passes were batted at the line of scrimmage by Chris Jones alone? How many sacks on Luck? I think 3 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, and a forced fumble by D Ford that was recovered by Justin Houston. I talked about winning the line of scrimmage. They were dominated up front on both sides of the football. So they didn't do that there. Mac attack. They were absolutely dominating. And again, they didn't dominate the line of scrimmage, so there wasn't a lot of running room. The first play of the game was indicative of how it was going to go running the football. D Ford in the backfield for about a 3 or 4 yard loss. And that was the day for Marlon Mack for the most part. I thought they should have run it more, actually. That second possession was so frustrating because Luck had 2 passes batted down, and then the third was deflected by the defender down the field. I wanted to see Mack. Mack had the first carry of the game that was like a -3, and then the next carry was like a +11, and they didn't go back to him for like 2 possessions, and that really frustrated me. I didn't think he got it enough in this game, to be honest with you, but that's nor here nor there. You can run on the Chiefs. For some reason, they thought that on a day where it was snowing and it was inclement weather, they needed to throw it 40-some-odd times. Good luck with that. And in any event, no Mac attack, and that was a problem for me in this game, and that was a problem ultimately for the Colts as well. They didn't do that either. Showtime's over. Showtime? No, Showtime is not over. Mahomes was sparkling, especially in the first half of this game. He cooled off considerably in the second half, but the damage, much like the Colts' victory over the Texans last week, the damage was done in the first half of this game. Mahomes was exceptional in the first half, and that pretty much put this game on ice, essentially. The Colts had their opportunities. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But in any event, Patrick Mahomes was not contained in this game, so they didn't get a check mark there either. Downhill, no dancing. They didn't stop Hill. They didn't stop Kelsey. Kelsey went over 100 yards receiving. Hill had a great day receiving and even had a rushing touchdown to boot. Too many big plays made by those two in this game. And then you allowed Damian Williams to kill you as well. You had no chance because you didn't play good enough defense in this game. And be right. Frank Wright, I thought, didn't call a good game from an offensive standpoint. I thought they threw it too much early. When this game was still in the balance, I thought they threw it too often. They didn't give Marlon Mack enough opportunities. Look, yeah, they made a couple of flashy plays in the run game, and there was a play by Derek Nottie that was made. There was a play by Ford, as I mentioned already, that was made in the backfield. But for every one of those, you're going to get some runs that pop out the other side. This Chiefs defense is soft in terms of stopping the run. You could have run the football and had success. I don't think you ran it enough. So I don't give you a check mark there either. They failed miserably. That was an epic fail by the Colts in this game. They didn't check off any one of those boxes. You want to win, you got to at least get to 2 or 3 of those keys to victory. They got to none of them, and that's why they got blown out 31-13 in this game. Meanwhile, you go to the Chiefs in this game, and you look at their keys to victory, and you'll probably find that they probably executed all of them. Let's see. Forced bad luck. I'd say they did that in this game. They batted quite a few balls in this game down of Andrew Luck's. They sacked him, forced a fumble. They also had Andrew Luck flustered. How many of his passes skipped to the receiver? Was short of the target, was errant. He was off. He should have had one picked off by Steven Nelson, and that should have been a pick 6. Andrew Luck was awful in this game, and the Chiefs, got to give them credit, they forced the issue, and they got results in this football game. Check. No Mac, no miggity Mac Daddy. No miggity Mac Daddy. No Marlon Mack in this game for the Colts. I think that was more of the Colts doing than the Chiefs, but they made some plays in the run game as well. They get a check mark there, but again, I thought if the Colts would have stayed persistent with the run, they would have had better results, and this game could have been totally different, but they didn't. Nothing easy for Eazy-E. The first third down of the game was exactly what I was talking about when I said nothing easy for Eazy-E. It was a low ball, but there were Chief defenders around. They hit him. And what did he do? He dropped the football. On third down, would have been a first down. Could have been a totally different game. If he catches that instead, 3 and out, and that was the theme and the story of the first half. Nothing easy for Eazy-E. There was nothing easy for him in this game, and that's who Andrew Luck has made a lot of big plays with, along with T.Y. Hilton this season, and both of those guys were pretty much non-existent in this game. Check mark there for the Chiefs defensively. Score a lot. He did that in the first half, not so much in the second half, and really you didn't have to. After you did what you did in the first half and the Colts kind of self-destructing throughout the course of the game, your 24 that you scored in the first half was more than enough, similar to what, like I said, what the Colts did to the Texans last week. They scored 21 in the first quarter and really didn't score much more after that. They didn't have to because they had done enough damage. Same thing here. You allow the other team to self-destruct and implode from within, and that's essentially what you did. But you scored enough to win in this game, and I knew you were going to go at least 30. You scored 31, and so you did what you needed to do. Check mark there. And finally, Reed between the lines. I thought Andy Reid, and I think this is more indicative of how he feels about Patrick Mahomes. He rolled the dice. It started early in this game, 4th and 1. How many times did they go for it on 4th and short in this game? Every single time there was a 4th down, the much conservative Reid said, to hell with it. I'm rolling the dice, hopes it comes up nice, because I got Patrick Mahomes and I'm not scared. And scared money don't make money. And as you saw in this game, it panned out for Andy Reid every single time. Andy read between the lines, and they got the W. He made the right call, being aggressive. And I told him, err on the side of aggression in this game. You're going to have to score points. They did it early. They did it often. They got the game in their possession and in their favor early, and they did not look back. Andy definitely read between the lines in this football game, and they get the win. They checked off every single one of their keys to victory. Meanwhile, the Colts did not, and that's how you get a 31-13 disparity in the game in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's get to a couple of thoughts from the game, and then we'll get to your comments quickly. Obviously, we don't have but a few minutes because the Cowboys game is about to start, and I'm not going to keep you here while that game is on. So I'll say this. I thought that the Indianapolis Colts, I didn't feel like they ran the football enough. I already mentioned that. I don't think that. How about Moore? God damn, he's good. Man, he played his ass off for the second straight game, and those corner blitzes, those nickel blitzes, man, is he good at those. Did you see the way he blew up Charkandrick West on one sack of Mahomes? God damn, he's good. I like him a lot. Darius Leonard, what can I say? What more can I say? Big-time players make big-time plays when your team needs you to make a play. That strip of Samuel Watkins was awesome, and it gave his team a chance. But Adam Vinatieri had a miserable day, missed the field goal. That would have changed everything because you make that field goal, you score the touchdown late, and all of a sudden the Chiefs are looking around. Fans are sitting on their hands, biting their nails, and it's a one-score game at 24-17. Instead, Vinatieri misses the field goal, misses the extra point, and instead of it being a 24-17 game, it's 24-13. Changes the whole outlook of this football game. He was awful today, but a man of his stature with the body of work that he has deserves an off day, and so I'm not going to beat up Adam Vinatieri. They probably weren't going to win this game anyhow, but nonetheless, he did not help their cause at all. You also look at the offense in this game. I thought that the offensive line was dominated up front. D Ford gave Braden Smith problems all game long, whether it was a run game, first play of the game, or the pass. Right after the Darius Leonard fumble and recovery, D Ford comes off the edge and strips Andrew Luck, and just like that, all the momentum that you thought you had captured with that forced fumble and recovery by Leonard was just taken away from you in one fell swoop by 55. 5-5 D Ford with his best season of his career, continuing that into the postseason. I talked about how the best part of this Chiefs defense is their pass rush. You saw it today. Chris Jones taking Quentin Nelson and dump trucking him, and Ryan Kelly, same thing, into the lap of Andrew Luck, and then putting his big paws up in the air and batting the football into the air numerous times in this game. I just thought that the Colts looked like a team that was ill-prepared for what was to come. They acted as if they didn't know that the Chiefs could score. They acted as if, because they got off to a slow start defensively, they had no answer for the RPO. The RPO was killing them in the first. I mean, annihilating them in the first half of this game. They had no answer for the RPO. Guys were running wide open. Kelsey Hill, I mean, hell, Samuel Watkins had a nice catch over the middle of the field on RPO. They were killing them on RPO in the first half, just destroying them. And so they weren't prepared. They were ill-prepared in this game. They didn't run it enough. That was an adjustment that I thought they would make. Ultimately, like, hey, we can run the football. They should have come in with that game plan, especially with the inclement weather. They should have come in with a mentality of, we need to pound these guys. They don't stop the run well, and they didn't run it enough. They didn't run it enough in this game. You get to the Chiefs. What a defensive performance. Look, we killed their defense, and I still think their defense is trash. I don't think overnight they got that much better. I think the weather helped them. I think the Colts helped them. Andrew Luck was not sharp in this game, and they didn't run it enough. But give them credit. They made plays in the run game, which I think kind of deterred Frank Reich from wanting to run it more. They got to Andrew Luck, got him off his spot, flustered him a couple of times, and it made a difference. He was off in this game, and again, some of that might have been weather-related. It doesn't matter. They made plays. They stuck to these receivers like glue. They didn't give up anything big until late, till T.Y. Hilton got the touchdown. They did a masterful job of making the Colts earn everything, and the Colts simply couldn't earn anything. They batted down passes. They got him in 3rd and long. They pinned their ears back. They got after Luck. They sacked him. They disrupted his timing. They were outstanding in this game defensively. That's not something I thought I would find myself saying at this game's end. I thought this was going to be a shootout. I thought this was going to be 35-31, 34-30, 33-30, something along those lines. The Colts never got off the ground offensively. That first half offensively was abysmal until that final drive. And give the Colts, or excuse me, Chiefs defense credit. They were phenomenal in this game. They showed up. They made plays from the start to the end of this game, and they deserved the victory. Offensively, Mahomes is as advertised. He is the MVP of this league, deservingly so. He was phenomenal in the first half of this game. Tyreek Hill, what more can I say? The dude is a freak. The run for a touchdown. There was a play that didn't count when he was down on the one knee, and he got up and I tweeted it out that he put up the deuces. He chucked the deuces, and he was behind the defender, and he knew he was going to smoke him. The dude is ridiculous. Travis Kelce is just out of this world good. I think he's the best tight end in this league. I know there are Eagles fans that will beg to differ with Zach Ertz. Give me Travis Kelce any day of the week. I'll take him twice on Sundays, and hell, I'll even take him on a Saturday too. So this guy is phenomenal. He was outstanding in this game. And what can I say about Damian Williams? My God, I told you I love Damian Williams. This goes back to his Tennessee Titan days. I thought he was good for them. I thought he was really good in Miami. I didn't know he was this good of a runner. I knew he could catch it out of the backfield, and I knew he had some quicks and some shakes when he got out in space. You saw it when he was with Miami. But this guy getting this opportunity is opening up some eyes. I told you there was a wealth of talent on I've said this all year long. I said the Chiefs go about 4 deep at every position offensively. You didn't even see Demarcus Robinson. I don't even know if he was active today. You saw Dieter. You saw Dieter out there catching passes. Like, they go 5 deep at about every position, and that includes running back. You get rid of Hunt, Kareem Hunt. Okay, cool, whatever. We'll re-sign Charkandrick West, and we'll just elevate Damian Williams, the starter, and look at the guy go much faster than slow. I mean, they were outstanding today. Everybody ate. It was a team effort offensively, and it was a team effort all the way around. They won this game completely, soundly over the Colts, and they deserve to be in the AFC Championship game. And I knew they would win this game. I just didn't think they would win it this convincingly. Good for them. Let's get to your comments quickly. We've got 10 minutes, so I'll get as many of these in as I can. Colts fan says, Lou, I knew we stood no chance versus KC, but everybody is blaming this on Luck. Luck didn't play his best game, but I blame this more on Frank Wright. You got to put your players in best position to make plays. I thought you should have run it more with Marlon Mack, to be honest with you. Luck was awful in this game, though. Colts fan says, either way, another season to improve with Chris B at the helm, and we will be Super Bowl contenders next year. I don't disagree with anything you just said. Colts fan also says, also, I thought it was nauseating how much the commentators were raving about Mahomes. Look, when you allow a guy to do the things he did in this game, and when the guy throws for 50 touchdown passes in a season, you got to give them the space they need to drool all over him. All right? If you don't want them drooling over Mahomes, do something about it. You didn't do enough about it. So it's the same thing that happened to me the night Drew Brees broke the all-time touchdown record. We didn't do anything to stop him, so you couldn't be mad about the love fest that the Monday night crew had with Drew Brees. You allowed him to kick your ass, then you got to take your medicine. Colts fan says, people are calling Andrew the most overrated QB in the NFL. Look, don't let people troll you. We know what Andrew Luck is. The man had the second most touchdown passes in the league this season. He's the comeback player of the year for a reason. Don't let people troll you. He also says, but last time I checked, our receivers could not hold on to anything in this game, and our O-line was not good. The O-line was bad for the first time this year. That's the first time I can actually say the Colts offensive line was not good this season. They were awful in this game. Colts fan says, what happened to everyone talking about how good he was against Houston? Look, again, don't allow people to troll you. Don't get your blood pressure worked up over people who don't know the game. If you've watched Andrew Luck this season and for the duration of his career, then you know what this man is about. This was not a good game, but everyone's entitled to bad football games. This was one of his worst, and it is what it is. You chalk it up and you move on. It happens. Make sure you use the hashtag LouieTLive if you want your comment read on the air. RG3 hashtag says, Adam Vinatieri should just retire. Damn, my boy was terrible today. He had a bad game too, like I just said about Andrew Luck, and I said this earlier. He's entitled to a bad game. His body of work says that he's entitled to a bad game like this. He's fine. If they want him back, he should be back. He's still kicking the football at a very high clip. He's still a damn good kicker in this league. I don't have any issues with Adam Vinatieri whatsoever. He did have a bad game, and his miss at the end of the half did have an impact on this game. All the momentum the Colts tried to take it to the halftime break was absolutely brought to a screeching halt with that miss. That was a tough one to take. Redskins Nation says, Chiefs have a great shot at going to the Super Bowl. I agree wholeheartedly. Silver V says, my Chiefs made me proud taking on all the people calling their defense garbage. I'm one of them, and I still think that defense is trash, and I think you'll get more of a sense of your defense not being as good next week. It doesn't matter who you play, Patriots, Chargers, you're going to get tested defensively next week. It may snow again. Who knows? Maybe that'll help you, but the Patriots are more than apt playing in the snow and inclement weather. Meanwhile, the Chargers, I don't know, not so much. We'll see how they handle the elements. It may snow in Foxborough on Sunday, and I don't know if they're really equipped to deal with it or not. We'll find out. Colts fan says, let's route the Chargers. I want Philly Rivs. Let's root for the Chargers, he says. I want Philly Rivs to get one. I think a lot of people feel the same way. Colts fan says, also, we barely got the ball in the first half, but our D showed up in the second half. Your defense gave you a chance in the second half. Unfortunately, this was one of your offense's worst games, and so they didn't help out whatsoever. You didn't have the ball a lot. And some of that was to blame to the offense because you didn't convert on third downs. You didn't convert a third down until the second half, until the fourth quarter, late stages of the fourth quarter. You were 0 of 7 on third down at one point. You may not have converted a third down in this game. I'm not sure about that. Colts fan says, excited for the future in store for our defense. You should be. This team is, the arrow is trending upward with this Colts football team for sure. Chuck Sharp says, what's up with Andrew Luck being weak with his throws? It was just that kind of football game for him. Might have been hard for him to grip. It was pretty cold outside. And I just think he was off balance a ton. He wasn't comfortable. Give some credit to that Chiefs defense, for sure. Silver V says, only difference between Chiefs D-line and Texas D-line was the effort. Wow, that was an ass whooping. Indeed, it was. Ali Side says, Colts did not take advantage of the Chiefs' horrible run defense, but man, did the Chiefs pass rushers show up today. I told you that was the best element of their football team from a defensive standpoint. If they are able to get you in the 3rd and long, and I talked about this on the preview video and to the keys to the game, I said if they're able to get you in the 3rd and long, you're in trouble because they can rush the passer. Chris Jones had like 16 and a half, 17 and a half sacks this year. D Ford had his best career season of his career. He was in double digits as well. And Justin Houston, he's not the guy that he used to be, but he can still get after the quarterback. Don't sleep on them and their ability to get to the quarterback. That's the best facet of their defense. And you saw it today. I agree with you, though, Ali Side. They didn't run the football enough, did the Indianapolis Colts. I thought they gave the Chiefs an out by not running it enough with Marlon Mack. Emperor Meat says, 1, the Colts should have run more. I agree. 2, Colts receivers after T.Y. are worse than trash. I don't agree with that. I think they've got some stuff out there. We weren't saying that last week when they dominated the Texans. 3, picked Chiefs, but I feel like they could have lost if there were a more capable team out there against them. I don't disagree with anything but number 2. I don't know if they would have lost, but the game would have been a lot more competitive if there were a better team out there on the field today. And really just a better version of the Colts that we've seen. If the Colts came more prepared to play with a better game plan, better execution, maybe this game would have been totally different. Ali Sai says, Lou, I was surprised by the Chiefs going for it on 4th down almost every drive without the block punt. Colts stood 0 chance. I agree with it. And that I think Andy Reid, and I talked about, and that's why I said read between the lines. That was one of my keys to the game. Andy Reid had to be more aggressive in this game. He has been passive in the past, but that's because he had Alex Smith, a passive-aggressive quarterback. He had to be passive-aggressive because if he made a mistake like go for it on 4th down and he didn't get it, it could cost them because they weren't going to score a bunch of points. With Mahomes, he can be more aggressive because he knows that his quarterback will erase any mistake that he makes, most likely. And so he was a lot more aggressive, and it paid off huge dividends for him in this game. Colts fan says, I was telling you about Kenny Moore last week. He's a baller. Kenny Moore was a baller again this week. Big ups to Kenny Moore. The dude is a stud in the making for sure. You did tell me about him last week. I talked about him last week, and I talked about him again tonight because he was outstanding yet again. Colts fan says, Braden Smith has been inconsistent this year. Hopefully he can clean it up. He's a rookie. You know, these things happen. And remember, he thought he was going to be playing guard. He ended up getting kicked outside the tackle. So there's an adjustment that happened this year. He was inconsistent at times, but he'll be better. I like Braden Smith a lot. I thought he played well for you for the most part this season. Enrique Valencia says, that drop by Ebron on the first drive was a momentum changer. I agree. I thought that was the start of the downward spiral by the Colts in this game. You needed to convert there. The crowd was raucous. It was a crazy environment. They were loud. You heard them, Collinsworth say this, or Michael say that this crowd was in full throat at that time. They were extremely amped for the beginning of this game. You get that first down, they sit the hell down, they shut the hell up, and you begin to settle into this game. Maybe you're able to establish more Marlon Mack. That drop was crucial, and you really never recovered from that drop. He also says, also felt like Frank Wright didn't really call a good game. Routes were far too simple to defend. I agree with that. I saw a couple of shots where I saw guys running down the field, especially on 1 3rd down, where Ebron essentially was running a seam route. He ran right into the defender. Guys weren't able to separate. I just thought he called a bad game in general. I didn't think he gave the Colts a good enough opportunity to win. I thought he needed to run it more, and I thought they needed to be a little bit, and again, some of those passes that got deflected on early downs, maybe those would have gotten you 5 or 6 and gotten you to much more manageable down and distances. You'll never know because Andrew Luck, much like last week, got the football deflected way too many times. We have 2 minutes remaining. Mary Jo says, it seemed like the newbie in these playoffs was Luck, not Mahomes. Why do you think the Chiefs couldn't score in the 3rd quarter? I really feel like in the 3rd quarter, they had some opportunities. You had the, I think it was the Mahomes fumble in the 3rd quarter. It may not have been, but they had a situation where they got deep into the Colts territory and then he got sacked. I thought the Colts did a really good job of applying pressure in the 3rd quarter. They were a little bit more aggressive in the 3rd quarter than they had been earlier in the game, and I think that had a lot to do with the lack of points in production by the Chiefs in the 3rd quarter. And also, you get to a point in the game where you feel like you've got a feel for the tenor of the game, and I think they felt like at that point, if we don't make any mistakes, they're not going to beat us in this game. And I think that's when you kind of got that sense in the third quarter. The Colts, they couldn't get out of their own way. The penalties in this game, how many pre-snap offsides, encroachment penalties were there in the game? I mean, Mahomes' hard count was off the charts. You're right. Luck looked like the guy that was in his first postseason game, not Mahomes. And I really think that the Colts were a little bit better defensively in the third quarter, and that was why the Chiefs weren't able to get on the scoreboard. But also, I think the Colts realized we don't have to do, or excuse me, the Chiefs realized we don't have to do too much. We don't want to try to overdo it, make a mistake, and give them an opportunity to win the game. Just like the fumble by Samuel Watkins. That almost gave the Colts a chance to get back in this game, but the defense rose to the occasion again. Strip sack, forced fumble recovery, and just like that, that one opportunity that you thought would give the Colts to get back in the game was gone. What up, Skins fan all day? He also says, I don't want to say this, but if the Cowboys defense shows up and Zeke runs the football, they're going to the bowl. I don't know if they're going to the Super Bowl, but I think they have a chance to win this game for sure. So that's going to do it for this game. It's time for Cowboys-Rams. Big win by the Chiefs, 31-13, as they advance to the AFC Championship game, where they will host the winner of Chargers-Patriots. Looking forward to that game tomorrow. Big win by the Chiefs. The defense stepped up. Let's see if we can get an encore of this kind of performance from the defense next week. If you're the Colts, hell of a season, hell of a first year under Frank Reich. Hell of a season and a comeback for Andrew Luck. The sky's the limit for this team. We'll talk about this Colts team in the offseason and some of the improvements that they can make to make this team even more dangerous moving forward. And remember, they get one of their receivers back, a guy that I like, Deion Kane, that tore his ACL in camp. They're going to get him back next year. There's a lot of things to like about the Indianapolis Colts. They're trending in the right direction. This is a football team that you need to look out for moving forward. But that's going to do it for your man, Louie T. Signing off. We'll be back here, same time or same spot after the Cowboys-Rams game. This should be a dandy. Looking forward to that football game and being here on the Overtime Series. If it's not your man T, it's not the best NFL coverage. It could be Chiefs 31, Colts 13, Chiefs moving on to the AFC Championship game. I'm your man Louie T signing off. I'll see you guys after the conclusion of Cowboys and Rams. Enjoy the game.
Louie T Network.